Yeah, it's your man Diggy Smalls from the Chaos Crew, the best commentator on all of YouTube. Yeah, I said it, but you know I'm right. Just like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my sights.
What's going down, everybody? It's your man Pro Diggy from the Chaos Crew, but you could call me Diggy if you like. And this video is going to be talking about quote-unquote lag compensation. Now, before I get into all this stuff that I'm going to be explaining to you, one thing is, make sure you go check out some of my previous videos. They're very informational. I put a lot of work into them. I'm going to put some annotations on the screen up in the corners and wherever. So make sure you go check those out as well. Don't forget. I may put some annotations towards the end of the video as well, just to make sure I remind you guys, you might get so involved in my sexy voice that you may forget to go check out those videos. So anyway, make sure you go check them out. But let's talk about lag compensation. Now, Drifter, a fellow YouTuber, yesterday, the day before, something like that, he put out a video about fixing lag compensation. And it all kind of made sense to me. I mean, most of you know I do IT support for a living, so I'm very, knowledgeable when it comes to computers and networking and how the internet works and things like that or whatever. Now, there's this phenomenon called buffer bloat, and I'm going to explain kind of in a nutshell what it is, but I'm also going to link Drifter's video in the description and where he actually got the information from about buffer bloat in the description as well, so you guys can go check that stuff out. But basically, a lot of people nowadays will have what's called a residential gateway. It's not the old, here's your modem, here's your internet, congratulations. A lot of times, you get a gateway. Now this here is a Uverse gateway. Now, I don't have Uverse internet anymore, but I do still have Uverse TV, and you do need to have this gateway still for their television. But I'm basically using this as an example of what a gateway basically is and what it does. Now, on the back of this here, you can see what's going on. Now, a gateway does more than just internet. What a gateway does, and some of them do, some of them don't, but a lot of them will have the option for phone. So if you have phone through your cable company or whatever, you'll have that phone jack there. Then you've got your Ethernet switch here, which is like the wired version of the router where you can just hook up some wired stuff like a computer, Xbox, or whatever. Then you've got your DSL link here, which for Uverse, it's still technically kind of DSL. So you need that in there for the TV and for the internet and things like that. You've got your coax cable connection here, and then you got your power. So basically what this thing is doing is everything. It's doing my internet, it's doing my television, it's doing my phone line if I had one. It's doing a lot of stuff. And with that, they have what's called cache memory. And what it is, basically, there's going to be packets of information through the internet going through your gateway and things like that. And it ends up starting to kind of fill up the cache. So most of you have probably experienced this where your internet completely cuts out or the speed's really slow and stuff like that. And what you have to do is you have to reset your connection. And how do you reset your connection? You just pull the power cord out, wait like 30 seconds, plug it back in, give it like a minute or two, however long it takes for it to boot back up. When it boots up, a lot of times that'll fix your, your connectivity issues where, if you weren't able to connect, you can connect, and if it was really slow, it should get back to normal, things like that. And the reason that's happening is when you pull the power cord, what it's doing is it's clearing out that cache, which is now allowing, it's like, imagine like a pipe that starts getting clogged with stuff, and then you kind of go in there, you clean out the pipe and stuff, the water starts flowing real smooth and everything like that. That's kind of basically what it is. So the packets of information are now able to flow nice and smooth, which gets you your solid connection back. However, there's this phenomenon called buffer bloat, and basically that's kind of the gist of it, is that with these new devices and the amount of memory that they have, you get so much stuff just kind of bogging down your connection, and it happens very quickly. So even if you reset it, within a very short period of time, it's going to get down to where you may still have the same speed, but those packets are still starting to slow down in there. Well, when you play a really fast-paced first-person shooter such as Call of Duty, those packets need to get there instantly, as fast as they possibly can, and you need to be able to receive them as fast as you possibly can. Because if this packet says, enemy A is right here in this part of the screen, but it takes, even a split second longer to get to your Xbox and show you that enemy's there, that's when you run into the things where all of a sudden the guy pops out, you die in one shot, and you're like, what the fuck was that? But then you look at the kill cam, and the guy's sitting there shooting you like 4, 5, 6 shots, but you only saw him shoot you once. That's because that packet of information showed up to your Xbox a little bit too late. And when it did, boom, there the guy goes, he pops up, he kills you in one bullet, and you're like, fuck this game. Well, Drifter put out a video talking about how you can kind of fix this problem. The only problem that I have with the fix is this. The fix is to somehow figure out a way to get your cable company to get rid of the gateway and get you just an old school, bare bones, run-of-the-mill, one Ethernet port, one cable jack, one power port modem. Just old school, bullshit, shitty modem. And if you connect that modem directly to your Xbox, the old modems like that they don't do a lot. They do one thing. So they still have cache, but it's a very, very small amount. And it doesn't store as much. So basically, you're getting the packets in and out as, a lot faster and things like that. You're not getting that buffer bloat situation that's been going on with these gateways. However, by doing that, you're making it to where you can only have one thing connected at a time. So if you're playing Xbox, no other internet, right? So if you have people that you live with that use the internet or need wireless or things like that, that's not really going to work for you. If you live alone and you don't mind switching cords around every time you play Xbox and things like that, then hey, that's perfectly fine. I tried the modem straight to the Xbox, and it was a world of difference. I am not gonna lie about this or whatever. I was winning gunfights that were fair. I was losing gunfights that were fair on the enemy's side. So gunfights that I should have lost, I was losing. Gunfights that I should have won, I was winning. I was killing people in 3 or 4 bullets. I wasn't sitting there shooting them, getting nothing but hit markers for fucking 10 minutes, having to reload and then dying. It was just a much better experience. And I was literally about to give up on Black Ops 2 before this happened. My connection in Black Ops 2 was worse than Modern Warfare 3, which a lot of you know Modern Warfare 3 was really bad. So if it was worse than that, I mean, I was literally ready to pull my hair out and I didn't want to play the game anymore. So this was kind of my last ditch effort to enjoy the game, and by doing that and testing it out a few times, I was like, wow, this game plays entirely different. The problem is I don't want to have to switch wires back and forth and things like that, and I like to be able to dick around on the internet in between lobbies or things like that or whatever, check my Twitter. So I didn't want to have just the modem straight to the Xbox. I happen to have this really great D-Link gaming router. I got this a long time ago when Flex still lived here because we needed this router in order for both of our Xboxes to be connected to the network and get an open NAT type. Now this is the D-Link DIR 655 and it's about $70 to $80, but it's a great router. I did some research and this was the one that most people, I mean there were a lot of there's the top 5, but this one was the most voted up router from all the different forums I went into. People say this is the best router ever made, things like that or whatever. And for the price tag, it's not really good. I mean, if you're getting the best router for gaming or the best anything for $70-$80, it's not a big deal to me. I mean, for some of you, you don't have a job or you're in school or, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. It's, it might not be that easy of a solution, but what I did was I was like, okay, you know what? I've tried it, modem straight to Xbox. Let's see if I throw this great router in here in the mix and see if I can still get that same connection. Now, I did have to change some settings within the router. I did some QoS, which is called quality of service, which basically, what I'm doing is giving my Xbox priority over every other device on my network. So basically, if my laptop's doing stuff or whatever, or my desktop, or however it is, someone else is using my internet, my Xbox gets priority over everything. So the packets that my Xbox is sending and receiving will send and receive before anything else on my network does. Now, it might sound like, oh, well, isn't that going to slow everything else down? I mean, we're talking about milliseconds that this stuff happens, so you wouldn't really notice it, but, so I changed some QoS settings. I gave my Xbox a reserved IP address, so basically, every time I turn my Xbox on, it will get the same IP address from my router, and that's never going to change. I also changed my, my Xbox to the DMZ host on my router, which basically means that you put the IP address of the Xbox into this DMZ host section of your router, and what it does is it basically removes the firewall. It opens all ports. It will allow any traffic to go to and from your Xbox and won't block anything. And since I only have one Xbox, there's no reason for me not to do that. So I did change some settings and things like that, and then I went and I played some games, and it was a world of difference. Now, I can't say it is exactly 100% identical to having it just to the modem, but it's really close, almost to where I can't even tell. I'm still trying to decide whether it is or isn't exactly the same. So if it's that close, it's definitely worth it. So if there is a way for you guys to switch out and get just a modem by itself that doesn't include wireless or any other kind of bullshit that these things are now including, and get yourself a router, especially this one. I can't speak on other routers. They may work, they may not. They all have different settings and things like that. I can only speak of what I've tried, but this setup that I have now is actually making it to where I can actually play Black Ops 2 and not want to just throw my fucking controller through my screen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully it was informational to you. You guys can play around with some stuff, try and figure things out, have a better Black Ops 2 experience. This has been your man, Pro Diggy, from the motherfucking Chaos Crew, but you can call me Diggy if you like. Don't forget, as always, to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my sights.